Hello, my name is Tim Kenny from Tim Kenny Surveying. I'm a residential surveyor and industry trainer. And today I wanted to kind of share this video to talk about the importance of developing a good inspection routine when carrying out a home survey. And I wanted to kind of record this one now because obviously amongst all the other things I do, I also supervise Sava accompanied inspections. So if you don't know, as part of the Sava Diploma in Residential Surveying and Valuation, all students have to carry out an accompanied inspection. And that is where they obviously, in small groups, inspect a specified property under supervision. And then obviously I record my observations of that inspection, a short interview afterwards, which is all then passed to their assessor. But anyway, part of that, they have to carry out their inspection within a set time frame. Obviously because practically we can't allow them all day to carry out this inspection. We'd never get through enough of them. But also within the real world, within the professional world, you're always going to be potentially restricted on the time that you have to spend within a property. I mean, obviously we should always spend as long as we need, but we also have to recognise that there sometimes will be time constraints on that. So they have to kind of learn to work with that to a certain extent. And kind of that's where inspection routine it becomes vital. And I really was reminded about this. I've done a few of these now, and some students do struggle to get around the property in the time allowed. But actually, I noticed a big difference with one we had recently. He was actually, I think, an asbestos surveyor, and was retraining as a surveyor. And you could clearly see that he'd kind of, because he'd obviously had experience inspecting buildings, he'd planned out what he was going to do and how he was going to do it and how much time he was going to allow for that to make sure he got around everything he needed to do within that building. And that really is the key. If you're going to inspect a property, and this kind of I suppose applies to any property. I'm coming at it from a home survey point of view because that's what I do and what I teach. But I think it does apply more broadly. Before you carry out that inspection as part of your desktop research, ultimately, you should be deciding on the routine to inspect that property. And when I say routine, I don't just mean inside first, then the outside, and all from the top to the bottom. I actually mean, well, look, when you get there, what are you going to do first? Are you going to inspect the grounds? Are you going to inspect the fences first, then the paving? Are you going to look for trees? What is that routine going to look like? And then when you come to the building, what are you going to do? Are you going to inspect elevation by elevation? Are you going to inspect element by element? And even if you're inspecting element by element, are you going to start from the chimney down to the roof, down to the walls? Even to the point where you're going to start standing maybe at the front of the property or to the side or to the rear, whatever it may be. Literally work through every single detailed step of that inspection. So it's an important thing to do. I mean, this is kind of the first thing that I tell any student that comes out with me on an inspection for mentoring. We spend most of that first session just talking about the inspection routine, because if you don't get that right, you are not going to collect all the information. You can have all of the building pathology and construction technology knowledge you need, but if you are not physically getting around the building, looking at everything you need to, collecting all of that information, then of course you can't accurately assess the condition. Okay? So just, as I say, really, really think about it. Go through it in a detailed way. Particularly if you're doing an inspection of property where you have access to, for example, the details on Rightmove, go through those photographs, go through the floor plan, work out, okay, well, once I'm inside, am I going to start in that bedroom or am I going to start in that bedroom? And then once I've done that bedroom, which bedroom am I going to do next? Literally, think it all the way through. You should know every step of that inspection before you get there. Now, of course, yes, you might get there and there may be very good reasons to change, but at least if you've got that outline, relatively detailed outline plan in your head, it gives you something to work to. And you can maybe get around there in a much less frantic. You don't want to just be buzzing around, picking bits of information at random and hoping you get everything. You need to do it in an organised, structured way to make sure you get the information you need. Okay, and I say what that way will look like is going to be different for everybody. And it'll be different depending on the properties. And that's why I say, actually look at the property, look at the details you have and work out your routine from what you can see. I have my set routine. It tends to start from the outside and I do everything that's not the house first. Then I'll go around elevation by elevation and I'll start at the top and I'll work down, and then I'll go inside and I'll start in the loft, then I'll go around, probably do the kind of services and the kind of the fiddly bits, and then I'll come back and I'll start in the main bedroom, and I'll work in a kind of clockwise direction from there on the first floor and then down onto the ground floor. That's kind of briefly my routine. It's what works for me. I've been doing it for a long time. I'd probably struggle to kind of change that routine. It's a pattern I'm in, although again, I do when I need to. But to say, that's just because that's the one I use. It's not the perfect routine, because there is no perfect routine. It very much will come down to you. I can make a strong case for doing the inside first and then doing the outside first, or I can make a strong case for doing the outside first and then the inside first. So it doesn't really matter which one you pick. Just pick one, understand what you're doing around that, and get on with it, and hopefully all your inspections will be that little bit easier. Okay, so good luck with it. Thank you very much.